Hello, UZURV Drivers. Tuesday, 3 o'clock Eastern. I apologize for the vibration here on this phone mount, but we're coming to you, our special year-end last broadcast of 2016 on UZURV Drivers with the weekly vlog. And this will wrap up a solid close to 6 months of doing these videos. Wow, this thing's bouncing all over the place. So wanted to take a minute here. Actually, we're going to take about 20-30 minutes to recap the year. And once again, thank all of you for your participation with UZURV. We are over 2,000, I think it's 2,071 members in the UZURV Drivers group, which I just looked at. And I'm going to pull over here so we can stop this vibration on this phone, but I didn't realize it was bouncing around that much. So as we wrap up 2016, 2,071 drivers in this group, UZURV Drivers, well over our target of 15,000 drivers for the year and UZURV overall. Ridership is through the roof. We've got the rider promo going on right now, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But you know, let's talk about what's coming up. The big event this weekend, New Year's Eve, and all of you that are drivers, like all of us on the UZURV operation team, have probably been looking forward to working this coming Saturday night for New Year's Eve. And I want to tie that in with UZURV and some of the things that I've seen on our support desk with comments that have been rolling in. Take the glasses off here. It is a little cloudy. I guess I can take them off once in a while. This weekend is one of those interesting situations with UZURV that, you know, when we tell you UZURV is not for every trip, it's not for every rider, and it's not for every driver. Everyone needs to make their decision. It's a tool. Those of you that have seen my posts here in the Facebook group for UZURV Drivers, I'll say it's a tool, and tools require work in order to be useful. So when it comes to using a tool, this weekend is one of those examples where it may not be the best fit, and most of you probably don't understand why I'm saying that, but let's talk about it for a second. If you have right now reservation requests showing up in the feed in your city for 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, New Year's, after the celebration is all over, people wanting to go home, we all realize there's going to be a tremendous surge, probably the highest surge pricing or prime time pricing if you're using LYFT of the year during that time, between, you know, midnight, 12:15-ish, and probably 2-3 o'clock in the morning is going to be your peak surge of the year. And yes, revelers want to go home safely, and they definitely want to reserve you because you're their favorite driver, and they would love to have you at that time. In this situation, it may not be the best decision for you to do that or to accept that. Why? Well, number one, in order to successfully execute a UZURV reservation pickup, you're going to need to be offline, and you would be offline right at midnight, 12:15, 12:30, 1 o'clock, whatever. You'd have to be offline at least for the amount of time to get to where your rider is, unless this is the only thing you're going to do that night, is go and pick up that one ride or that one trip request, which is through the reservation in UZURV. But anyway, you're going to miss out on surge. You're going to miss out on on-demand driving during that peak period that you've probably waited all year for. So we can talk more about it. Feel free to comment below your experience from last year, whether you think it would be wise or not to log off during that time period to accept a reservation request. My guess would be it's probably not the best time. And some of you may have different opinions, but and our riders definitely may not understand what pressures are working against the driver in that particular situation as well. So let your good rider customers know that maybe you're not available during that time. That's just an advice, or my piece of advice for those of you that are going to be working on Saturday night. If you didn't have anything else to do and you wanted to celebrate New Year's and be the DD, the designated driver, and make that one trip, that could be your Good Samaritan move. And yes, you are going to get some great surge pricing out of it, or prime time pricing at that particular moment. But remember also, if you're picking up in a busy area, at a venue or hotel or somewhere where maybe people have had a large party, or there's a bunch of revelers requesting all at the same time, you may have some issues linking up with your rider on both Uber and or Lyft during that time period. There's gonna be a lot of demand, there's gonna be a lot of people requesting trips, and the on-demand environment may be best for both rider and driver during that time. I wouldn't say it's gonna be great for the rider, because they're gonna get hit with some pretty high surge, some big multipliers on their base fare, but it could be profitable for the driver. So just my feedback regarding this weekend. I want everyone to have a fabulous, happy, and safe New Year's, whether you decide to be on the driver side or on the rider side. Just make sure you have a safe weekend. Make the right decisions. I haven't decided yet if I want to celebrate or if I want to drive and then celebrate at 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. But anyway, comment below. Feel free to light up the chat below and give us your take on New Year's Eve and whether you think it's a great fit for UZURV or not. I'd be real interested to see the varying types of opinions that come from those of you that are watching now. And I'm going to definitely go back through the comments. I can see the thumbs up going crazy. Mr. Matt Hunt is got his finger on overdrive right now. But anyway, glad you're on, Matt, and Happy New Year to you and everybody else. So that's talking about New Year's and talking about using UZURV as a tool, and maybe that's one time where the tool doesn't quite fit the situation. So everyone make your own decision. Moving on to ridership. We've got a few days left in the rider promo for December. We've got several people that have told me that they've got 50 plus. That's amazing for the month of December to get that many riders signed up on UZURV and get them on the system. It's only going to benefit you in the long run. And we still have a lot of new drivers that are joining on the system that are maybe struggling to understand how this works. And I know that all of you that are tuned in here watching this video have probably heard me say this numerous times, but if you're waiting for trip reservation requests to show up in the feed, then you got to make sure, look in the mirror, figure out what your contribution is to your business as a rideshare driver, and what riders and what number of riders are you informing about this system so that they can come back and reserve you again and again and again. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to allow your rider to reserve their favorite driver, which is you. And all of our marketing support and all of our operational support has been towards the driver to this point. So we really want to make sure that drivers understand what this platform is for, how it operates, how it works, and what makes it successful. And what makes it successful is riders, recruitment, and referral of riders to the system. And if you can't drive them all yourself, then somebody else is going to benefit as well. But hopefully those drivers are also contributing to the ridership numbers and not just waiting for reservations to pop into the feed. And I know that there are both out there. So as we continue to grow, those that are putting in the effort are having the great results. And you see in this group all the postings of some of the great reservations that have been posted, some that have been completed. You've seen some funny ones that are maybe too short, or maybe the address didn't pop up right and the people want to get picked up in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. There's still glitches like that are going to happen, but appreciate everybody's participation and posting the good and the bad here in this group. And on that note, UZURV for Drivers, this Facebook group, if you're in the community right now of the 2,071 drivers that are here, hopefully you're seeing these videos on a week-to-week basis, and hopefully you're contributing via the comments and the chat, and sharing in the discussion that's going on in the group. But remember this as well, this is a support group of drivers for drivers, and never fails. From time to time, there's comments that come through that are not the most positive, I would say, and then it gets into a really heated discussion as to either bashing the product or bashing the people involved with it, or coming down real hard on the other drivers that are offering their opinions and comments. And you know what? That's not what this forum is for. This is a support group. Support is a positive thing, and we want to make sure that we keep it that way. We choose not to delete a lot of comments. We let them sit there and allow people to respond to them. We don't like censoring the group, but every once in a while, if there's something that needs to be removed, we'll take on your advice, we'll remove it. But for the most part, we want everybody to see that we take the high road on a lot of these conversations, and most of the time you all jump in and make it pretty well known that sometimes the comments are unacceptable. So we appreciate that as well. So we got the big community, we've got the ridership booming, we got the contest coming to a close. I think there's going to be some really impressive numbers when we post the winners, or the people that qualified for the shirt and or the sweatshirt and or the jacket. This jacket, once again, I'm wearing it, and I've got my hat on, which has my lovely backwards logo because I'm using the regular facing camera. So we're going to see about maybe enhancing some of our equipment as we go into 2017 and spice up these videos a little bit, make them a little more interesting than just watching a talking head come to you each week and talk about the same old thing over and over and over. So as we talk about basics and drivers, let's get back to one more thing, and this is kind of a comment that comes up a lot with driver questions, is how do I pick up at the airport, right? It's always been, well, it's been posted in this group since the beginning, and yes, there are people that don't like to search through and find the answer, but remember this, okay? The first thing, and this goes out to all the members of this group, and if you can share this with your fellow drivers that maybe aren't a part of this group, we know that we've only got about 10% of the users in this group, so there's a lot out there. But as UZURV representatives, we cannot tell you how to utilize your rideshare apps, Uber and Lyft, how to use their app. It's not our technology, it's their technology. We can tell you that you need to step back and make sure that everything you are doing with their app, the partners that we consider Uber and Lyft, with their technology, is 100% under their terms of service and in compliance with your local regulations and laws and any other oversight that may happen, airport authority, that type of thing. We can tell you those things. There are reasons why we cannot. All of you can probably imagine that legal is the main issue. It's not our responsibility to tell you how to do it properly, but there is a proper way to do it. So just make sure that you search in this group if you have a question that is one of those where you get I don't want to say it's a textbook answer, but if you get the answer from me or from anyone else in our group that says, if you search in here, another driver will gladly tell you how to do X, Y, and Z, that's because we cannot. Okay, we cannot publish our standpoint on using another app or another technology or another company's product. We would love to tell you how, but we can't. Okay, so keep that in mind, that there's a right way. Never ever transport, and this is me as a driver saying, never ever transport anyone in your vehicle if you're not on an active trip with Uber or Lyft, period. Okay, that includes airport, that includes any geo-fenced area, it includes military bases, it includes every possible situation. You go, well, my airport has this first in, first out queue and it's impossible. No, it's not impossible. You need to broaden your thinking, talk to other drivers, and you will find out that there is a very simple way to be compliant. Okay, so always make sure that you have an active trip, that you're not undercharging your rider, not overcharging your rider. You only have the active trip while they're in the car. Okay, so protect yourself, be safe, be smart, Don't be driving anybody around off app. Number one, you're not covered by insurance. Number two, you're not getting paid. And number three, it's just not a good business decision, okay? So keep all those things in mind. If you have questions, talk with the experienced drivers that are in this group, that are in your city. If you want to get a hold of somebody privately, just post a comment down below and say, somebody in this city, please call me, contact me, email me, PM me on Messenger, whatever the best way is. You'll get the answers you're looking for. We're going to tell you the things we can tell you, and we won't tell you the things that we legally can't. All right? So I know that question has come up a lot lately. So when we talk about drivers making good decisions, that's number one, okay, is always make sure that you're doing the right thing. So as we move on towards this end of 2016, I really want to thank all of you for your contribution to UZURV. Again, I know I mentioned that early. On behalf of the entire team at UZURV, our CEO on down, Matt Donlin, co-founder Harold Franz, that a lot of you know from this Facebook group. They send their best wishes to everybody and the most thanks. I think 2016, we hit a lot of milestones, and it was, from launching at the beginning of the second quarter to where we've made it to in 9 months is completely amazing. And 2017 is going to show some huge leaps and bounds towards the success of this app and the popularity of this app. And the goal is to have, this become a household name for the app, just like Uber and Lyft. Uber and Lyft are great products. They've changed the world. And, the only thing missing is the ability to reserve your favorite driver again and again and again. And with UZURV, you can do that. And you essentially get now a private car service, a private driver for the price of UberX or Lyft, which is significantly less than what you pay for a taxi. And the two of them combined have created a fantastic opportunity for drivers that understand how to maximize their business. So y'all have been doing a great job. And I'm going to swing back through the comments because I've got a lot of you online here. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I'm just going to see if there's anything I can answer real quick. All right, Raleigh, Leslie, David, Mr. Matt is on, Tanya, Chris, Jimmy, Dan Hain, Dan Hart, Jack Sordo. You guys, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Jimmy Terrell, Matt Hunt, Tanya, she says, I'll take reservations for taking them to their party early, but not later in the evening. Yeah, and I didn't even address the earlier in the evening portion. I was strictly talking about the after midnight pickups. But yeah, I mean, take some UZURV reservations earlier in the evening, and chalk up those trips early, and then go out there and work that on-demand rush that's going to happen after 12. It's going to be amazing. Danny Rivera, thanks for joining in. All right, Matt Hunt says, someone put in a reservation for 8 p.m. New Year's Eve. You know what? That's a good one. I left that part out. Yeah. Oh, Matt says, I was like, ha ha ha. Yeah, right. And you never know. You got to make your own decision, but that may be a good one. Matt Hunt says, thumbs up if you miss seeing Fred in these videos. Yeah, Fred's not in my car, so when we do it back in the office, we'll make sure and have Fred in there. Dava joined in. Dava, maybe you can comment below and let us know how's it going in Lake Tahoe with Uber Ski. Not all of us get to participate with Uber Ski because we don't have any snow. At least we don't have any mountains and snow combined. Be interesting to see how that works out for you. Harold says he wants to drive this coming Saturday night. Harold, you drive every Saturday night. Don't let anybody fool you, or don't let him fool anybody. Harold's out there. He's got more trips than anybody we know, and he lately has been driving a heck of a lot less, but he's got close to 10,000, if not more. Dan Hart, my advice is spot on. Hey, that's a good thing. It is nice to sometimes be a driver when you're communicating with driver communities. Maybe you know what you're talking about versus It's funny how some other rideshare companies don't allow their ops managers to be drivers. Confusing to me. All right, William, Indianapolis is on. Michael Richard is on. All right, Tanya has a comment here. She says, I had a driver message me and threatened to turn me into LYFT for advocating and promoting UZURV. Because he thought it was against their rules. After going round and round with him, trying to explain things at the end, I told him to email them directly and just see what they say. He said he was doing that in the email in which he was turning me over to them. Okay. All right. So it's funny, you know, we haven't had to address that issue in months. I mean, remember at the beginning when we started this, everybody was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get deactivated. Nobody's been deactivated at all for utilizing UZURV in conjunction with Uber or Lyft. And you know, we treat it as a cherished relationship because they are the engine that power our reservation ability, right? So we need both of them to do well. We wish them the most success, and we appreciate the technology that they've provided to all these drivers that allows them to earn income the way they do, on demand. But we offer the component that's missing. And if you go through the Uber terms of service and you go through the Lyft terms of service, I think they call it terms of service also. It could be terms and conditions, which is what we call ours, but the terms. If you go through the terms, they will tell you that you can use any third-party app that you want, any software, anything that you want as an independent contractor. You can do whatever you want. I mean, people use apps to tell them where the surge is located. People use apps for tracking their mileage. People use apps for communicating via Facebook. These are all third-party applications that are being used in conjunction. For me, as a prime example, I am a driver for Uber and Lyft. Both of those companies know exactly who we are and who all of our drivers are that are at UZURV, that are UZURV employees, that we utilize UZURV every single day, and we follow the rules. We follow their rules, we follow our rules, and you know, we follow the rules of whether it be Sherpa Share for tracking my mileage, or if I use Surge Chaser for tracking the surge. All these things, we follow the rules, right? But they're tools available to us to use our business. Now, what you can't do is promote one of those services on the other. So you can't promote Uber on Lyft, they'll deactivate you. You can't promote Lyft on Uber, they'll deactivate you. You can promote UZURV to Uber customers on the platform. You can promote UZURV to Lyft customers on the platform. There's nothing wrong with that. Why? You're enhancing their system. We're not doing anything wrong. You're just allowing someone to find you ahead of time. That's it. Anonymously. No personal information exchanged. Those are the benefits that our app creates. You're able to connect. So anyone that says that you're going to turn me into Lyft, go ahead. They already know who I am. You're going to turn me into Uber? Turn me in for what? Let them know that I'm a UZURV employee and that I'm an Uber driver, and I'm going to be driving Saturday night, and I'm probably going to take, just like Mr. Matt Hunt and Tanya mentioned, I may take some reservations in the early evening and then go out and drive on demand. I will be out there. If anyone wants to deactivate me for utilizing UZURV, you know where I'll be at that particular time. So it's not an issue. Like I said, we appreciate their technology, we cherish it, we utilize it, we follow their rules. And we ask every driver to do the same. Do not deviate from any of the terms that are governing any of the tools that you use for your business. That's it. They're there for you. As long as you follow the rules, you're going to make a lot of money and do well. So that's what it's there for. Appreciate that comment. And yes, everyone goes, oh, well, I heard you're going to be deactivated. If you have any questions, contact Uber or Lyft directly. Ask them directly, will I be deactivated for using this, this, or this? And they'll reply to you and tell you, no, you can do whatever you want. All right, enough of that. William says, FAQ posted in the group files. You know what? The FAQ is actually located at UZURV.com. So if you go to UZURV.com/help, you get all the FAQ. And we will be adding a resource page to the website very soon, hopefully this year. Very soon, early this year, 2017, where we'll have a lot more resources for drivers where you can go in and you know, get documents, get things printed, or, you know, read up on FAQs, things like that, where if you have specific questions, you'll be able to get answers to them all in one location. David Lowell says Happy New Year and safe driving, and same thing going to all of you. Dan piped in about Uber Ski, says going good in Tahoe, a little slow at first, but it's picked up. Well, when I was what I was hearing is that a lot of the snow got rained away, but then you guys are getting some more. So hopefully the snow comes back and you have a great spring. Pretty much we get an extra $6 to touch skis and boards. Man, not bad. So as long as you got a rack, you can put the boards up on top, get people up to the slopes. That's great. Uber Ski. So I don't know if we added ski rack to our amenities. I got to look at that, but I know we have bike rack in there. And I know that we changed the child seats. I think instead of kid friendly, I think we were going to eliminate that and just say you either have child seats or you don't, because we did have a couple of riders where the driver said he was kid friendly, and then they, you know, the rider wanted to get in with their kids and expected them to have car seats, but it wasn't listed as an amenity. So we did have a little conflict there with our system, but those are the learnings. So anyway, Uber Ski, Uber Bike, Uber Kid, all those things work out real well for you as drivers. And you know, on that note, make sure that your vehicle profile is correct. Go in there, just take a look at your amenities, make sure that you've got everything correct. Make sure that you've got, if you're an XL vehicle, make sure you've got Uber Large and Uber Basic checked off in there. If you only do Uber Select or Uber Lux or some of the premium products, make sure you've got Luxury selected for your vehicle only. If you do Basic and Luxury, then yes, you're going to be expected to take some Uber X or Lyft trips. If you don't want to work at that rate, you only want to do premium services, then make sure you've only got Luxury listed. So we don't want riders or drivers having to sacrifice in an area that they don't want to. So just make sure your profile's correct as you go into the new year. Appreciate all the comments that everyone posted on here. I'm real interested to see some more feedback as people come in and watch this video as to what their approach is going to be this weekend. Clarified some legal issues for you, talked about our ridership promo, talked about the appreciation on behalf of our CEO and our co-founder and the whole UZURV team, the development team, support team, everybody that works very hard every single day to make this happen. And appreciate everyone tuning in to the video and for being a part of Facebook or the UZURV for Drivers group on Facebook. So I think I've pretty much covered a lot. That was 30 minutes or close to it. And for the last broadcast of 2017 or 2016 as we go into 2017, I'll tell everyone happy holidays and have a happy new year. Be safe, and we'll see you next week.